Hello, professionals and noob investors alike. I welcome you to this channel where we talk about all things finance, stocks specifically is what I kind of like to do. And in today's episode, as you guys can see, we're going to primarily focus on, is gold a reliable option in today's market and in this crazy headlines that we're currently seeing go around right now. In these times, I have actually started a small journal where I just write down thoughts and specific things I'm looking at, like the stocks and just my thought process during this whole time, because we are currently in a unique era where we are in uncharted territory where we've never been as a society. With the current economic status that we're in, with the virus that's going around and how it just completely rocked us globally, there's headlines going around that the stimulus package has been done, and there's also a lot of headlines going around that the feds have actually started to purchase the bonds from actual companies, which, if any of you guys know, that is nationalization. That is pretty much game over when it comes to like worst case scenario. We don't want this as a community. We truly do not want the federal entities coming in purchasing debt from corporations, big companies, because that basically just opens up the floodgates to hyperinflation. That opens up the floodgates to the dollar bill being so overinflated that a dollar is going to be completely useless and it's going to be replaced with the $100 because that's just going to be what the going rate for everything is. I mean, doomsday is in the forecast if you read the headlines and if you get caught up in all the bear news. And listen, worst case scenario, yeah, obviously that is where we can go if things snowball out of control. But in today's episode, we're gonna see, is gold going to be something that we are wanting to be interested in? I currently hold no positions in gold, and I know as a long-term investor that's stupid, because you should at least own, just bare minimum, about 10% of your portfolio should be in gold. That's just kind of like the basics 101. I'm not there yet because I'm still currently trying to build up a position in a lot of these companies that I feel still have a lot of value, even in today's market. So I'm not there currently, but when I was doing the research and all of the research that I've previously done on the gold, it's enticing, let me tell you. So without further ado, we're going to get into some things, and I'm going to actually show you guys a couple different ways to invest in gold. We're going to go over a different type of stock. There's a lot to get into, so let's just hop into that. How about that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. First and foremost, the first thing we got to get underway is gold a viable option in today's economic reality? And the simple answer is obviously yes. I mean, gold is just something that every portfolio should have. Like I said, 10% of your portfolio should at least be in gold, because what that does ultimately is it just secures your portfolio against the dollar bill. If usually the way it goes, okay, in perfect scenario land, the gold value will go basically in reverse to the dollar. So if the dollar goes up in value, well, then gold usually goes down. Once the dollar starts going down in value, like it currently is because of inflation, well, then gold usually starts to go on the rise. Okay, so that's usually how it goes, just 101. But as you can see, there's just too much information circulating around the world right now in regards to how we're dealing with this virus, in regards to how we're dealing with the economic collapse around the world. We're having stimulus packages in the trillions. I mean, $1 trillion stimulus packages are being thrown around. The word trillion is being thrown around like the word billion. It's insanity. I've never personally never even heard the word trillion this many times. So it's incredible to see that our national debt is going into territory where we as a world are going to have to stop and realize, are we going to be able to pay off such a debt without going into extraordinarily hard times? And as it stands right now, no, it does not seem like we can handle such an event. And this virus has definitely shown us the weaknesses in our economic structure and the way these companies are running their businesses and their financial their statements, balance sheets, etc. So yes, gold is definitely viable. So there's a couple different ways to invest in gold. When you start investing in gold, you do have to do research. It's not as simple as just going out and just going to any pawn shop and just buying any gold ring that they say has gold. Okay, there's a little bit that goes into it. So there's a couple different ways to invest. I'm gonna go over the most secure ways that I feel personally are the best and most secure ways. Okay, option number one is probably by far going to be the easiest one, and that is outright just straight purchasing gold, having it in your physical possession. And the reason why I wanted to start with this first is because this is by far the safest method as well. If we scroll over, I'm going to show you guys, if you guys just do a quick Google search, you guys can find a list of different vendors, but do your research. Buygoldandsilvercoins.com, BGASE. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not paid by anybody. I'm a nobody. So this is just from research that I've done personally. I know people that have used this website. This is just a website where you can go on and you purchase gold, silver at value, and they will give you certificates of authenticity. They go out of their way to do everything. So buying gold outright and physically is the safest because you have it. You know it's there, and that gold will go up and down in value depending on what gold is trading at. So it won't depreciate. Well, it will depreciate if the value of gold obviously goes down, but gold is a very precious commodity. So just outright owning gold is going to be an investment. So this is one way that you can do it. The second way you can do it is you can invest in gold, not physically, but you can invest in it through the stock market. Now, if we go, what I did is I broke down a company here that I feel is probably going to be one of the safest ways to invest in gold, because when you invest in gold through the market, there's also a couple different ways to do it. Okay, one way of doing it is investing in either single stock or ETF stocks that follow and track the actual value of the gold bullion. So however much an ounce of gold is worth is however much that stock will go up and down. Okay, so it will follow the value of the actual gold itself, the precious metal gold itself. Okay, the other way of investing in gold, and there's a couple other ones, but these are the two biggest ones, and the second one I don't recommend. However, I'm definitely not going to take it off the table, and it's definitely a popular one, which is you can invest in single stock or ETF stocks that follow gold mining. Okay, so that means that you are going to basically follow companies that mine for gold. And that stock, whatever it is, will go up and down depending on the production that actual company brings in. So those ones I'm not a huge fan of, simply because you are at a lot higher risk because you're dealing with a company that has to find gold. If they are unsuccessful at finding gold and they spent X amount of dollars trying to find gold and mine gold in a particular area and they didn't find any and they had to relocate, well, that company is going to take a massive hit, and so is that portfolio. If you follow gold, the precious metal, like in the stock that I'm showing you today, and in option number 1, if you follow a stock that actually tracks the actual gold itself, well, then you're safer because you're dealing with the actual gold value itself. Much less risk involved. So this stock right here, SPDR, short term, we call it SPDR. Ticker symbol GLD. Okay, this is a ETF stock that follows the actual value of gold. Okay, so they invest and hold real gold, and their price follows the gold bullion. Okay, basically gold. So risk factors are they charge a premium. So what we can do is you can actually research ETFs the same way you research single stocks. Okay, so if you just Google search SPDR, ticker symbol GLD, prospectus, that's what you want to type in. Okay, prospectus, you want to type in GLD prospectus, and what that's going to do is that is basically a ETF's 10K report. Okay, it's going to tell you everything about that ETF, and it's going to also tell you the risks and the expenses that come with owning this ETF. All ETFs have an annual rate to them. So at the end of the year, they're going to take away X percentage because they are controlling that ETF, and they're the ones that are dealing with the transactions. We're just investing in the ETF and they're dealing with our money. Okay, so the reason why I like SPDR, ticker symbol GLD, is simply for the fact that the annual expense is very, very cheap compared to everybody else. Okay, so once you get into their actual prospectus, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come down and you're going to want to see trust objective. This is going to tell you everything that they invest in. This is also going to tell you how much gold do they own. They own 25.6 million ounces of gold. That's how much gold they have. Okay, and they'll also tell you that their expenses, if we go down here, trust expenses is a 40% annual rate. Or I apologize, not 40%. It's a 0.4% annual rate, which is, it's not even a 0.5%. I mean, this is extraordinarily cheap. Okay, so this stock right here, very little risk because it's going to follow the value of gold, and it's an ETF, so it's very well diversified. So they're going to have their money in a lot of gold. Okay, a lot of gold, and their expense rate is very, very cheap. Okay, there is another stock, another ETF. I'm not going to go over it, but the ticker symbol is IAU. That is another ETF. If you guys want to take a look at that one and their prospectus, that one actually does have, surprisingly, a cheaper expense. That one actually has a 0.25% annual expense, which is, I mean, mind-blowing, to be perfectly honest with you. But I chose SPDR personally because I've done a lot of research with SPDR just themselves and all of the other ETFs that they have. So I know that SPDR is very reliable, very trustworthy, and they usually always have the lowest, if not one of the lowest expense rates. So I just feel more confident showcasing this one if I have to give you guys an example of an ETF. So just overall, I hope you guys took away something. Now is a good time to look at, if not start to invest into gold, whether it's physically, whether it's an ETF, whether it's a single stock. Just doing your research and finding out the best way you actually want to invest in gold, I highly suggest it, because it will protect you during the times that we are experiencing right now. If anything was to happen to the US dollar, God forbid it happens, and we go into hyperinflation, all that gold that you guys have, not only is it going to go up in value tremendously, but it is just outright probably going to save you. So definitely highly recommend that you guys start doing that research, and I hope I was able to help you guys and show you guys at least something to get you guys thinking about it. Otherwise, please like, follow, do what you guys gotta do to show some love. I appreciate all you guys viewing everything. And if you guys have any questions, like always, pop in that comments, let me know. Thank you guys. Hey, if you guys are still sticking around, thanks, man. Bonus tip and thought: if I can give anything to you guys advice wise, if we actually do get this stimulus check of the $1,200 or more dollars, if I can suggest you guys do anything with that money, besides pay off any heavy debts if you guys got any, it would probably be invest it in actual physical gold. So that way you can turn the fake money that they're actually printing to give to us and turn it into something that actually is physical and holds real value. I think that'd actually be pretty funny too. All right. Thanks, guys.